Oh, geez, it was very energetic and fast paced. I mean, if you think about the lifestyle of a true entrepreneurial business, it's fly by the seat of your pants, do whatever it takes to get it done. And it was long hours, it was high energy, and you really needed to put a lot of enthusiasm into the work and really appreciate it or like it. Otherwise, you wouldn't last very long.
Meet Dennis Carpio, Senior Director, Business Development for Ixia, the company that acquired NetOptics, and he was one of the first employees at NetOptics. Dennis reflected on his first impression of Terri Kabachnick when President Bob Shaw brought her into the company.
Professional, very professional, very insightful. Almost the intelligence behind and the logic behind everything, and all her teachings and her framework and all her curriculum. It's very scientific and logical.
One of Terri's first action steps was to take assessments on the existing employees.
In the beginning, it was very interesting because I wasn't exactly sure what the results would read. I mean, I too, even though I'm an optimist, was kind of skeptical. Okay, how true and how accurate will this really be? But boy, when I read the actual assessment, holy cow, was it accurate? I mean, it was. I joke around. It was very similar. I told a couple of friends in the office that it was almost like God wrote the paper. Wrote the piece of paper about you. So. Obviously I shared it with my family, I shared it with my wife, and many of them said, yep, that's spot on. So it was incredible. It was incredible how accurate the results of the tests are based upon the given set of questions that she's put together.
Although the Kabacknick Group's assessments have a written analysis, her skills go far beyond just reading the results.
She did a very good job of understanding what each of the respective roles were in the cross-functional organization, and then kind of aligning it to each person's natural style and adapted style, and helping them understand exactly how to become more successful in each of those roles.
A hallmark of the Kabacknick Group's success with companies of all sizes is her personal coaching that accentuates the positives of an individual.
The delta would highlight exactly where your weaknesses were, but obviously the overlap shows where your strengths are. So certainly we tried to take advantage of the strengths and then use and leverage those in areas where we can put each individual person and myself into projects that would showcase those strengths.
In our other interviews with former NetOptics senior management, we learned of their perspectives. It was interesting to get Dennis's.
It always took a conscious effort too, because it's one thing to think about what your communication style is, but it's another to understand what the person you're talking to, what their communication style is. So one of the things that I learned from her is it isn't about what you say, it's about how you say it. And sometimes it's also not what you say, but who you're talking to, who's receiving the information. How will what you say be received? And so not only did you have to factor in the output of how you said certain things, but you needed to factor how you said it based upon the person that's receiving it. And so, yeah, it took some time, conscious, thinking around, that, but it certainly drove a level of efficiency when it came to communication. Because if I knew I was having a meeting with you, for instance, and I knew what your assessment was, then I would review the assessment prior to our meeting to understand how best to position and deliver my information. So it was very valuable.
With Terri's ongoing coaching, Dennis shared this interesting anecdote.
So I'd oftentimes reach out to her and, if I'm struggling with something, if I'm frustrated, I'm stuck on a project, whatever it might be. And there's a number of tips and tricks that I've learned from her over the years. One of them is that when I'm on a project and I'm stuck and my brain just can't seem to be moving forward any further, a lot of the times she says part of the reason is because your brain acts like a hard drive, and sometimes the hard drive just needs to get emptied in order for the hard drive to start working again. And so she taught me a technique where it's almost, I shouldn't say almost, it is meditation, where you really reflect on the things that are top of mind and and kind of weighing the most heavy, in life at that moment, and write them down. And there's something physiologically beneficial about the act of writing something down from your brain to a piece of paper that allows the neurons in your brain to kind of operate and flow at a much higher capacity and flow faster. So she asked me to do this exercise, and I did, and just we kind of stayed in touch over the next several days and weeks, and as I did this exercise, it did become very apparent over the next couple of days thereafter that I did it, that I wasn't worried about some of the things that were weighing me down, and I was able to focus and concentrate on the task at hand in that particular project. So those little things, those little tips and tricks are, wow, they were very valuable.
As we concluded, Dennis described his professional growth.
Oh man, it's been tremendous. Definitely, my growth has been tremendous. I don't think I could be where I am today without her mentoring and her guidance, and all of the boost camps that we ever did, and all the learnings that we did. As I mentioned, who I am and where I am today, not just as a professional in my career, but as a person in life, has been completely changed for the better because of her.
And as we discovered in